Based on information I'll be displaying in this video, Drama Alert may be in serious violation of federal regulations set forth by the United States Department of Labor and owe their staff members tens of thousands of dollars in back pay. Is Keemstar of Drama Alert legally allowed to use unpaid volunteers or interns instead of paid employees? Because this is a serious topic, here's my disclaimer. I'm an analyst who reports YouTube news, and due to the significant public controversy over this issue within the past week, my opinion is based solely on the information found in this video. Any facts I use backing my opinion will be shown behind me on screen. Now, onto the story. Boop-boop-ba-doop. I was tipped off by Broken Computer that on March 7th, 2016, Frito, the Drama Alert lead journalist, posted a tweet looking for Drama Alert interns. Just 2 days prior to this tweet, a previous Drama Alert staff member named Raven reached out to me asking for an interview on the show, and to cover the story of Keemstar allegedly mistreating his staff, including screenshots he sent over. While I felt the screenshots were reflective of Keemstar's character, at the time I dismissed it as drama and nothing more. That is, until I found out Keemstar's staff was a staff of interns, as shown in that tweet by Frito, which may be in violation of federal regulations designed to protect workers' rights by requiring that employees are paid, as I'll show in a few minutes. But first, how do we know that Drama Alert's news staff is interns? Chipmunks, the head of the Drama Alert news team, tells us in this video how many members are on the team.
Can pretty much find the whole team, bar 3 or 4 people.
As we can see in this screenshot sent to me by another Drama Alert intern. The group is called Drama Alert Interns, by the way. The chat is run by Dan, Mandy, Frito, and Chip. So that's 4 members in the Drama Alert Interns group. You can also see that this screenshot came from an intern who was just added to the group. This was taken on March 10th, 2016, and you can see that immediately after being added to the group, he was told, "All right, I'll give you 30 minutes to find me as much news as you can, anything interesting." So indeed, these interns are looking for news for Drama Alert. Further, Frito is not the only person referring to the people being hired by Drama Alert as interns. Keemstar himself has been doing so for years. In this tweet, from August 24th, 2015, Keemstar says, "Looking for experts in these communities for Drama Alert internship job. Use hashtag #DramaIntern to apply." In this tweet from January 9th, 2014, Keemstar says, "Looking for more people to join the Drama Alert internship news team. We have 20 right now, only 5 of them do work." So when talking about issues of how many people may be affected by Drama Alert's business practices, we can already see, even if there's only 4 team members now, there are many people who've been affected. This tweet also from 2014. Also, we are looking for an intern for Drama Alert to cover all the FIFA drama. If you are interested, make a vlog explaining why. And in this tweet from May 25th, 2015, my Twitter followers know more than the new interns. God, this group is bad. So Keemstar has been hiring interns for years. Even though the oldest tweet I've showed you is from 2014 in January, at that point he already had 20 interns, so he had been hiring for a while before then. So the question you might be asking yourself is, why is it so important that the staff were interns? First, we have to determine if Drama Alert is a for-profit or non-profit business. And this can be difficult to do with information that isn't always publicly available. Looking at Drama Alert on Social Blade, we can see that the business makes up to $910,000 a year, so almost $1 million in ad revenue alone. And that revenue's not including sponsorship revenue from companies like Gamma, with which Keemstar is a partner. Use code KEEM for a discount. Further, right in the video from the head of the Drama Alert news team, Chipmunk says,
Is that this is a business. So Drama Alert is a business, and this.
Additionally, just to be sure, in a fact-checking email that I sent to Drama Alert before publishing this piece, where I stated that I'll be referring to them as a for-profit business, and requested clarification, the email was never returned with corrections. Therefore, based on publicly available information, we're going to proceed under the assumption, based on the facts I just showed, that Drama Alert is a for-profit business. According to an interview I did with Raven, former intern of Drama Alert, Interns were unpaid with the exception of one member who was paid $400 one time to the best of his knowledge. Here's that audio. Were you ever paid during your time with Drama Alert?
Well, staff members do get compensated for hard work, but an actual payment for your work is not guaranteed. I mean, the only reason that one staff member got compensated is because you would look at the chat and they'd be posting literally every 5 minutes with a news story that Keem usually didn't use.
So when you're saying that sometimes people would get compensated, what kind of compensation do you mean?
Well, Mandy got paid $400, but that's the only case I know of a staff member being paid at the moment.
He also mentioned it in his video that he made about the topic.
He gave Mandy $400 for her hard work. That's nice. But compared to how much he makes from YouTube, that's not much.
So why does it matter that they were interns and they were unpaid? In comes the Fair Labor Standards Act, or the FLSA, which we'll be referring to through the United States Department of Labor. This act was created to protect employees and ensure that people in an employment relationship with a business are paid at least minimum wage. Let's take a closer look. Individuals who are suffered or permitted to work must be compensated under the law for the services they perform for an employer. Internships in the for-profit private sector will most often be viewed as employment unless the test described below relating to trainees is met. Interns in the for-profit private sector who qualify as employees rather than trainees typically must be paid at least the minimum wage and overtime compensation for hours worked over 40 hours in a work week. This means that unless the interns who've been hired by Drama Alert can be proven to be exempted as unpaid interns, they must be paid at least a minimum wage, which means, considering that this has been going on for several years, that these employees could be owed up to tens of thousands of dollars in back pay. So what is the test that determines whether an intern qualifies to be unpaid? The following 6 criteria must be applied when making this determination. 1. The internship, even though it includes actual operation of the facilities of the employer, is similar to training which would be given in an educational environment. 2. The internship experience is for the benefit of the intern. 3. The intern does not displace regular employees, but works under close supervision of existing staff. 4. The employer that provides the training derives no immediate advantage from the activities of the intern, and on occasion its operations may actually be impeded. 5. The intern is not necessarily entitled to a job at the conclusion of the internship. And 6. The employer and the intern understand that the intern is not entitled to wages for the time spent in the internship. If all of the factors listed above are met, an employment relationship does not exist under the FLSA, and the Act's minimum wage and overtime provisions do not apply to the intern. So all of the factors must be met. So if even one of these factors isn't, the employee will be entitled to at least minimum wage for the hours worked. So rather than speculating about whether or not these 6 factors have been met, I've interviewed Raven, since he was actually a Drama Alert intern, so that he could answer and speak about these questions for us. Let's take a look at the first qualification. So I want to take a look more at what this actual internship was like and what the circumstances surrounding it were like. So while you were an intern, were you given any sort of training?
No, you were just told to, on TweetDeck, put in the hashtag drama alert and look for drama going on in the community.
So that training was employer specific. So basically, for those who are unfamiliar, TweetDeck is just a platform that allows you to access Twitter, essentially. So all he was saying is to search for the Drama Alert hashtag to find news?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being the case, would you say the training that you received was equal to what you'd receive in an educational environment?
Not even close. You could self-teach yourself a lot more than we were told.
Let's look at the second qualification. Now, did you benefit anything from the internship?
Not really, no. Apart from working for Keem, there was no benefit that you ever got from the internship.
So the only benefit that was there when you say working for Keem was the hope of potential opportunity.
Yeah, which never comes.
The third qualification? Now, you said you searched for news for Keemstar. Was that the main responsibility you had as an intern?
Yeah, all you had to do was find news for Keem, and then at some point you'd be put into main chat, and that's all we were ever told. Find news, find news, find news. Keem never communicates with the staff. He just shouts in the chat, find news, find news.
So not only does this show that it was the intern's responsibility to find stories for Drama Alert, but Drama Alert didn't provide training or supervision. And that fourth factor, and all that news that you would find, gave him an immediate advantage because he was able to use that for his stories.
Yeah.
Now, as to whether or not the internship would lead to employment. Okay, and was your internship ever discussed as being a trial for possibly potential opportunities or being able to do more work for him?
Not really, no. It was just, when you see an opportunity to work for Keem, you'll just go for it.
So in that case, there wasn't the promise of future employment, although, as stated earlier in this interview, there was the incentive of moving to main chat, which is where Keemstar was. But that said, as Drama Alert has been recruiting new people, here's how they've been recruiting. We're going to take a look at Broken Computer's tweet, which shows a private conversation between him and Frito. Hey Frito, I'd be interested in learning more about an internship with Drama Alert. Could you please tell me more? To which Frito responds, find me a good lead, then we'll go from there. So there we do have a case of asking a potential intern to work in hopes of future employment. And finally, on to the last factor of whether or not wages were expected. So you didn't work for him as a volunteer, essentially out of the goodness of your heart because you believe in the Drama Alert mission. You really did this because you thought there was potential opportunity to progress by being associated with Keemstar.
Yeah, that's exactly it. All the staff members that are there, I don't mean to call them out, but if this channel had, 5,000 subscribers, they wouldn't be there because they wouldn't care about Drama Alert, because they wouldn't be getting attention for it.
Great. And for your internship, when it was initially discussed before you started, was it ever talked about if it was going to be for a fixed duration and what that duration would be?
No, everything on Drama Alert is just undiscussed. So when you join the Skype chat, your main goal is to work towards main chat, and then you're not given any duration of how long you will be an intern. They just say find news.
So there you have it. We can judge based on that interview that the 6 qualifications for being an unpaid intern were not met, which would mean that the interns who've worked for Drama Alert must be compensated under the law for the services they performed for the employer. But this isn't just my interpretation of the Department of Labor's provisions. Let's take a look at some others. A rule of thumb is that an unpaid intern does not regularly perform the company's routine work, nor is the business dependent upon that individual's work product. From the National Law Review. Also, do not use interns as replacements for regular employees. In fact, the unpaid intern should perform little or no productive work. In this regard, employers should know that the DOL views filing, performing, other clerical work, or assisting customers as the type of productive work that would create an employment relationship. With this in mind, structure the program so that the intern, rather than the company, benefits most from the relationship. Additionally, the company should exercise significant supervision over the intern to avoid the applicability of the FLSA. In a perfect scenario, the intern would shadow a regular employee and would not perform substantial productive work. While serving in this role, the intern should sign an acknowledgement that he or she understands that no compensation will be paid to him or her for their service. But this was all left ambiguous. If that's not enough, let's take a look at Forbes. Employers that are considering adopting a volunteer or internship program must be self-critical and ask themselves what is motivating them. If the answer is that having free labor will provide an immediate boost to the bottom line, the program is likely illegal. And here's a different article from Forbes on the topic, right in the opening line. Most private, for-profit organizations that are hiring unpaid interns are likely violating federal and state labor laws. Now, this is getting pretty pretty serious, so let's take a look at one other possible outcome. Could it be different if Keemstar referred to these interns as volunteers instead of interns? It's an easy enough mistake to make. I mean, when I was first approached with this story, I almost dismissed it because I considered Raven a volunteer and not an employee. So would it be different if Keemstar just misspoke and really meant to call these interns volunteers? Well, it turns out no, it doesn't make a difference. Once again, from the Department of Labor, under the FLSA, employees may not volunteer services to for-profit private sector employers. But one last thing, do we have proof that unpaid staff was actually doing Keemstar's work? Were unpaid interns being used to displace paid employees? We have some very good evidence supporting that. When Drama Alert called 62-year-old RuneScape Twitch streamer RS Glory in Gold a pedophile and admitted in a video that they got it wrong, Keemstar blamed his staff. Let's take a look.
And earlier today, someone on my news team provided me with a story that I thought was vetted, that I thought was correct, and it wasn't. It was wrong. And this isn't a little fuck up. This is a big fuck up.
How did these unpaid interns get this story wrong if they were under supervision? Seems like they weren't being supervised. In fact, let's see what Keemstar has to say about how his news team came up with this story.
Him and another person on my news team sat there for hours looking at the faces and identified who was who and that it was the right guy. And I fucking lost it. My heart sunk into my stomach. The minute he gave me this explanation that they matched the faces, I realized that we just so fucked up.
Messed up in more ways than you might have imagined. Because that kind of mistake comes from a lack of training. Training that you were required to provide if these staff members were to be considered unpaid interns. Now, this isn't just my opinion. Let's take a look at what somebody else wrote publicly about this situation. Now, here's my issue with his apology. He literally brushes it off onto his news team. He doesn't acknowledge the part he played in this is huge. I'm just confused on how any self-respecting journalist can report news they don't know how it was confirmed. The underlying issue is that this isn't the only problem that has been caused by Keemstar or what Keemstar has done. But there's one more thing. What about the issue of Mandy being paid $400? Didn't Keemstar do her a solid and show that he's a good guy by paying her $400 for her work? Nope. Even if he is a non-profit business, be aware that if your non-profit considers its interns volunteers but pays them a stipend, there could be unintended negative consequences. The stipend may cause the Department of Labor to classify the intern as an employee, creating the obligation to pay the intern at least minimum wage and back taxes. Wow. No matter which way you cut it, it looks like Drama Alert is in trouble. Complaints can be filed both federally and to the state, and links with more information on that are in the description below. What are the penalties for these violations? Willful violations may be prosecuted criminally and the violator fined up to $10,000. A second conviction may result in imprisonment. Employers who willfully or repeatedly violate the minimum wage requirements are subject to a civil money penalty of up to $1,000 for each such violation. Now, there are several remedies available for people who haven't been paid proper wages. Link is in the description below. I have it on the screen behind me if you want to pause it. But in addition to that, there are state penalties. Keemstar lives in New York, where violations of any provision of the labor law, the industrial code, or any rule, regulation, or lawful order of the Department of Labor is a misdemeanor and is punished by fine or imprisonment or both. The Federal Fair Labor Standards Act authorizes the Secretary of Labor to assess a civil money penalty of up to $10,000 for each violation of the labor provisions regarding minors or any of its regulations. This penalty is in addition to those provisions for fines, imprisonment, or restraint by injunction. And that's not even including the federal ramification that an employee may file a private lawsuit for back pay and an equal amount as liquidated damages plus attorney's fees and court costs. Liquidated damages can be equal to the back pay award, essentially doubling the damages if an employer willfully violated the statute. statute. So let's take a look at the bigger picture. Putting this in context, I've contacted both Drama Alert's lead journalist for comment, as well as Drama Alert twice over the course of days, and they've not provided comment on this story. The bottom line is that if this is true, if this unpaid labor doesn't meet unpaid internship qualifications, Keemstar and Drama Alert may be in for a world of hurt if this is reported to the state or reported federally. And former employees may be entitled to serious compensation, especially if Drama Alert is a for-profit business. Even if Drama Alert is non-profit, employees like Mandy, who were allegedly, by Raven, paid $400 by Keemstar once, may now be entitled to far more. I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comments below. This story is the result of countless hours of research, so if you found it interesting, share it. And don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories that are worth a second look.